Alright, back to working on unwieldy Xbox One consoles. So I've picked this one up at my local electronics recycler, and the only thing... Well, I picked it up for 30 bucks, came with the power brick. Don't know if the power brick's good or not, so that'll be exciting. I had two power bricks I wanted to test. The only thing that's really missing is there's a grill piece missing, there's the plastic connector missing for it as well. There's like a plastic piece that slides in here that the eject button sort of rests against because it needs to rest against this because it's almost like a reverse button. There's a little button on the end of this thing that it presses to eject. And I mean, I can try and extend out, but my camera setup is not made for this style of giant ass console. So it has been opened. I don't know why the hard drive was harvested from this thing, but I need to look up how to take this thing apart again. I believe it was fairly simple. Go to our trusty dusty iFixit guide. Let's just go down to the fan. So everything is tabs. Or everything's just plastic tabs. Now, does this side come off? Okay, no, that fan doesn't come off. So considering that this piece is already gone, I should just be able to basically just pop this thing apart. Now at the recycler, they have a person that works on video game consoles, so I don't know why they abandoned this one. They were really rough on opening this though. And I did just notice that. That's interesting. It's like a crater there. It's very dusty, by the way. I think it's been sitting at the recycler for a little while, and I think they wanted 50 bucks for it originally, but I think they dropped their price. So I'm like, you know what? I like giving them my money, so I'll pay a little bit for something that just might be parts. I don't know how much I can use these cosmetic pieces, but this is really coming apart pretty hard. The last one I did really just popped apart pretty easily. Oh, there we go. I think I'm making progress. I might be doing this upside down too, where I'm fighting against the weight of the console instead of it helping me. Yeah, this feels better. And what is a little suspicious is they do have hard drives at the recycler, so if they really wanted to put a hard drive in here, they could have. It is a little more cumbersome. It's not just to slap a hard drive in and it works. You have to go through offline updater. But Microsoft has that information available. Like, they have the actual update files. Like, give Microsoft all the crap they deserve, but that wasn't plugged in. The front panel connector wasn't. Okay. Did they damage it? No, it was just never plugged in. And speaking of up-to-date files, I do have a hard drive ready. Are these T10s? They sure feel like it. So really all I want to do is get it apart. So I think that's a T8. T8 Torx. I want to get it apart so I can get to the hard drive. Or what currently isn't the hard drive. Get my pillbox ready. My probably new favorite way to keep screws nice and orderly. So kind of what I'm saying, if they go as far as to label it as junk without trying to put a hard drive in it, that's a bit suspicious. Eight T10s. And the only thing wrong about my pillbox is I can't store the big thick, big long lads in there, but these screws are so unique that they're not going to be mistaken for anything else other than these like through-hole studs that go to the other side of the console. I am kind of doing this backwards till I fix it, but it should be all these flared out, sort of built-in washer screws. Should allow me to just lift... oh, perfect. Okay, that was not that bad. I don't know how much of this I need to be connected. Like, is this chime just a novelty? I don't need it to boot. Okay, the hard drive is indeed missing. Everything else seems fine. I mean, I'm not seeing anything too egregious, so I need to really just go along with testing it. So, like I said, it did come with a hard drive, or it did come with a power supply that I do want to test. But I'll have to grab a known good tester. I should probably start with the known good one. And then I can expand from there. So I'll have my known good one that I know does not have bulging caps. I'll put in my HDMI. And what I didn't realize is that on the Xbox One specifically, a failing hard drive can mimic like HDMI problems. I have an Xbox One S that I thought was an HDMI retimer, but it actually might be the hard drive. So when I get to it, I'll have to try it out. I'll change my input source for my... That's a good sign. I don't have a front panel connector, but I also don't have the hard drive connected. So I don't have the proper size drive. I'm going to make do with a big 4.5. I'm not planning on using this in the console. This is just, I need to make sure everything else works. And this is the best way for me to do it. Let me see if I can snap this front panel off. So it can be a little more wieldy. Used an obnoxious amount of plastic clips for this. Good lord. Alright, so this might accidentally trigger it. Alright, so let me kind of park this in a spot that won't be too... There we go. Just hinged it in. Alright, battery's the power. Nothing. Oh, because I don't have a chime. Right, so it wouldn't chime at me. I'm using an HDMI splitter. It's not responding to anything. Should be an input too. It looks like it's on. I mean... I might not be able to use my HDMI splitter like I was hoping I could. Let me grab the chime. It's gonna be, I guess that's a lot more important than I was expecting. And then I'm also just gonna plug my HDMI into my TV, or my monitor. It's not gonna decide to work. Yeah, I know I bumped it, but... So I'm getting nothing out of my HDMI. Out to TV. And I don't even hear the hard drive going. So let's just turn it off. Seeing if these connections are good. Or maybe it needs this other connector. Does it really need this wire? I would hope not. It's kind of pinched on here, so it's going to be a little inconvenient to have everything connected at once. I'd be very doubtful if it needed this antenna. Hmm. I mean, it could be my HDMI cable. That's always a possibility. But I don't hear it initializing the hard drive. I don't hear the hard drive spinning. Oh, and it just automatically turned off. Curious. Wonder if this needs to be plugged in. think it's just antenna. The hard drive isn't going at all. I wonder if it's not powering it, if the 4.5-inch drive requires a little more power than what the Xbox can give. So it's unable to drive it, so to speak. I mean, that might mean I'm kind of stuck for now. I am using an unusual hard drive, so I need to pick up a smaller drive. I can pick up 100 gig versions, or not 100 gig, 1 terabyte like laptop drives. Get this off. No, you stay off. So I'll put this one back together, let it sit, until I get another hard drive to test it out. I mean, oh god, I should probably disconnect it from power. Well, shucks. I'm going to assume a power issue. For now. Or it can't power this drive, for whatever reason. Because I should be able to run the update script without it. The HDMI port looks fine. I don't see any problems with any of the ceramic capacitors that I see. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Get this thing back together and test it when I can. Later, when I get a drive. Might need a couple drives if my Xbox One X is also a hard drive problem, but I think I might run into the same problems as I am with this. So I just won't really know until I get the full thing together. Or until I get a drive that I know should work, not one that might work. Like I can try and power it on with everything connected. Maybe it is just erroring out without this. Which is, I suppose, is possible. It's failing a self-check and it's like, nah man, ain't powering up without the proper thing in. Because if it needs all of its components to boot, then that is definitely a component that is missing required to boot. So let me try that. Because this wasn't connected. The person who took this thing apart to rip out the hard drive for whatever reason decided that they just didn't want to plug everything back in. Which I suppose is understandable because it needs to come back apart anyway, but... Oh, I like how they have like a speaker printed right there. That's funny. Okay, so now everything is connected, including a hard drive. I would be very surprised if it was the 4.5-inch drive is just not able to drive it, so to speak. I don't know how much it takes to drive one of these drives versus a laptop drive, 2.5-inch. We'll see here. Still don't hear anything from my hard drive. Nothing's on display. I mean, I know it might take a second because it's going to realize, wait, what the heck's up with my hard drive? But it shouldn't take this long. Alright, well, I tried. So I'm going to move on to another Xbox that I have, just to kind of see what's wrong with it. This one I think might be just a hard drive. I do need to probably just get a proper hard drive for it. I don't think a 4.5 is going to work. Worth a shot. I have a bunch of these 1 terabyte ones kicking around. If I ever do any running around, I can stop by my recycler and pick another one, or pick up a smaller drive. Physically smaller. Get all these big old studs back in. And though I hope it doesn't come down to it, this will at least be good for spares. I will have to clean this, but not until I know that it's working. This housing's in really rough shape. So these pieces might just be thrown away. I think all the stud screws I need are labeled C. Grab the 2 Sunday screws and my T8 bit. Good, yeah, so I'll wait for a new hard drive, as that is going to be the first culprit. It needs a hard drive anyway. The symptoms it's showing are of a hard drive, missing hard drive. So I need to get a hard drive anyway. So this will be has to wait. Just do the courtesy of putting this darn thing together the way it's supposed to be put together. There. I am just missing the tab and the grill on the side, but for now, this Xbox is put back together, and I'll wait until I can get a hard drive. So I did just a quick search, and I didn't realize you could just boot this console without a hard drive. Or, not without a hard drive, without a, like, married hard drive. That you can just pop in any Xbox disk drive and it will work. As long as it's... I mean, you could pop in any hard drive, truly, once it's partitioned. I don't know if that larger drive that I used just wouldn't work, because I was under the impression that maybe it's too big, so it wouldn't output anything. So what I did, as I take this thing back apart... Come on, baby. Pop those clips. It's a bit uncomfy how I have to sort of bend that forward. The front panel connector off. Okay, I need to get that part separated again. Get it back mounted. Oh, I didn't tighten that screw in all the way. I mean, doesn't really matter. It needs to come apart again. Okay, so what I did is I took a hard drive out of another Xbox One. I even wiped it and reformatted it because that one was spitting out errors. In that one's case, I think it was a previous user swapped out the disk drive without swapping the daughter boards inside the drives. So it's running into an authentication error. And in that case, there's nothing I can do until, well, recently there's been a glitch or like a glitching method to get into the security of the Xbox, which paves the way for modding tools and proper like custom firmware. And when those tools are, I would imagine, are currently in development. Once those are released, it would not be surprising to have just like you can use any disk drive. Like it removes the authentication, or maybe you're able to flash authentication onto a drive. Like if I put a disk drive into this console, I could flash the various encryption keys onto the disk drive. If that's even possible to begin with, or either there's going to be some way, something a developer or a community member makes that will completely bypass the authentication as a 100% necessary step. Which I look forward to, because then that will turn that once bricked Xbox into something I can use. Let's see if I can get away with. I don't think I really can, given how this. I have to be very careful. Kind of plug in that drive in blindly, but I think I got it. HDMI, batteries to power. Let's see what this does now. I heard it power the hard drive once. I heard like the hard drive, it made just a noise. One noise. But it's not making any other noise. Nor is it kicking a display on. So it's not powering the hard drive. I mean, I was kind of connecting it blind. It's impossible, or it's possible I just didn't plug it in all the way. Oh, Yeah, I'll do it. That's what I get for being lazy. Okay, let's try it again. That drive sounds better. Oh, and it's kicking a display. This is a different error code. So this might be due to it being in a new Xbox. Let me grab my controller. So I can start by just reformatting it. Or let me just do like a general wipe. Reset this Xbox, remove everything. And then I have an offline formatting image, or the offline updater, which I'll try next. I might as well plug that in while I wait. Hopefully I've never actually tried this. It says preparing console right now. My camera's just pointed a little too low. AI was telling me that I should just be able to do this fairly easily. I'm going to assume it's a lot more complicated than just plopping in a hard drive. But we'll see. Oh, great. Now we gotta wait again. There's a lot of waiting when it comes to these software errors. Same error code? Okay. So let me do the offline updater. See where I get. That was a different error code. While I wait, I can do some research on that error code, see if there's anything I can do with it. Or if it's telling me something right away that... So it's an E106 code. It's a failed OS update during startup, corrupted or unreadable system file on the HDD, a failing or partially unreadable hard drive, occasionally a bad HDD cable. When the console fails to install or update OS updates. iFixit users report E106 errors are almost always HDD related. So in this case, I did swap the HDD over from another drive, from another console. I don't know if this drive works. Like, this is a sort of an unknown hard drive. However, the error I got on that Xbox was due to an authentication error, not unrelated to the hard drive, to the best of my understanding. Apparently the subcode on it is related to directory corruption. And that could just be because it's from a different Xbox, so those are unreadable. They might be, I don't know if they have codes on them or something. Or like identification codes tied to each of those files that Xbox is looking for, but... Or it's looking for files with its tags on it, and it can't find any. So we'll see. The verification step is at 60%. That's where the other Xbox failed. Which hopefully this one's not the case. It will just turn into another brick until more developed software modding tools are available. Until we can extract the encryption keys so that I can remarry a console. Or can remarry the disk drive to the motherboard. It'd be cool if this just works, but I would be very surprised if whomever was working on this console didn't try doing this. Because the person at my hardware recycler is pretty... They do know their stuff. They're not dumb. Or maybe they just didn't have the time. They saw the shell was in pretty rough cosmetic shape. It was missing a piece. They're just like, you know what, we'll just harvest the hard drive out of it, sell that separately, and just say, you know what, this is for parts. Which I completely understand. These consoles aren't worth that much. And taking however long this will take to actually put in a hard drive, get it running, that's time you could be spent on other things. Which I totally understand. So at 60% when it's done the setup, it should reboot. 60%. Once that verification goes to 100, it'll reboot. Ooh, it didn't kick an error out immediately. Okay, well, I'm feeling pretty hopeful for this one. Last hard drive, when it failed authentication, it just killed, or it just spat an error code right after it reset. I need to go grab the other Xbox. I need to grab its serial number. I just have to start taking notes on this thing. Or on the other Xbox I worked on. Ah, golly, this is painfully slow. Wonder if it's faster with a SSD. Oh, look at that. Now, I don't know exactly how much personal information is going to come up here. Oh, oh, interesting. Okay, so I had another Xbox One. Like, I did not have that plugged in. I think that's the Wi-Fi. So I had an Xbox One where it couldn't detect the networks, so I couldn't update it. Maybe I'm just stupid and I didn't plug that in. I'll have to go back to that console at a later time. Let me just see. Since I updated it with the offline updater. Ooh, which the offline updater. I didn't even think of doing the offline updater. Okay, this is opening up a lot of doors for that other console that I thought maybe had a Wi-Fi problem. It could be related to this board. Maybe it's damaged. Maybe I just didn't plug the darn thing in because I didn't think it was important. I could just run the offline updater. I think I do have to connect to a network. I don't think almighty Microsoft will let me not keep their always online console online. Can I not sign in with an Xbox account, or is this still the error? Or was this the beginning of that, no, you need an Xbox account, or else you just purchased a brick? Can I bypass this? No. Forgot your account, maybe? Okay, it looks like I'll have to set up via my phone. Fine. Get this QR code scanned. Ah, great. Okay. That's stuck in a loading loop on my phone, so I'll go the old-fashioned way. Microsoft.com/link. I don't know why my phone doesn't like grabbing the QR codes that Xbox produces. I have this problem with my Xbox One S, where it's just a permanent white screen. It's like, cool, thanks. I think I have to open it up through another web browser. Ironically, it's through Microsoft's web browser that's having the problems. There, I'm now signed into Xbox. There goes. Provide optional data for this device? No. Found some settings from the last Xbox, no barriers. I'm not going to show my screen because it's flashing my email. Skip. I do not have code cards. Do they even sell code cards for Game Pass anymore? Or for Microsoft money? Probably. I mean, I haven't used one in years. Ever since maybe the 360. Oh, do I want to install bloatware? No, I sure don't. Take me home. Looks like it's working. Ah, I didn't mean to do that. Darn touch sensitive. I like physical buttons, not this bull crap. So I want to test the hard drive, or the disk drive, and I think that's about all I'm willing to test right now. This does need some parts that I can find, like the hard drive mounting portion is completely, like there's a ton of screws missing for some reason. Xbox, why don't you have a display? I know I accidentally shut you off during the stupid profile creation when you tried jamming bloatware down my throat. That doesn't mean you need to throw a fit. Throwing a fit it is. Do the full shutdown. Unplug it. Plug it back in. Curious. I'm just stuck on a solid black screen. Why? There it goes. Okay. It just took a fat minute to turn on. Better not need to punch in my password for my account. Alright, I'm on the dashboard. Look at that. I don't know exactly how I can authenticate that this thing isn't banned. I mean, it's allowing me onto the Xbox store. I did want to grab the... I don't know if the hardware or if the Xbox accessories app is installed by default. so I can make sure I can authenticate my Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. Here it is. Okay, it is one of the default systems apps. Okay, it is seeing that my Elite Series 2 controller is indeed an Elite Series 2 controller, and it's called White Boy! Wonderful. Alright, let me plug in a disc, my sacrificial Minecraft story mode, the game that I think still doesn't exist. I mean, this is only like the first 3 episodes, which I think were the best, but not the complete series. Disk drive sounds good. Sounds really good. Oh. Disk, Minecraft story mode. Oh, it's got to install it. Boo! How long it will take. Update later. Play disk. Or is it going to force an install? Yeah, it's going to force an install. Boo! Well, that's modern video games for you, folks. Fine. This will at least confirm that the hard drive... Well, I mean, at this point, the hard drive should be working if it's... I mean, I'm booted into the Xbox menu. And I guess I can show that because it's not flashing my stupid my email. But it's installing Xbox or Minecraft Story Mode Episode 1. Don't know how long that's going to take. I don't know if I'm just going to sit here and play it, or sit here and wait for this to end because I've waited through a lot of dumb updates. I might just let it sit while I go eat lunch and then come back and then just to see if it boots. I'm guessing it will. There's nothing telling me that this disk drive's bad. It sounds great, spins up. It's reading the disk. So I'll just go from here and assume it works. I need to take it apart to clean it anyway. I'll probably do that later. I also need to verify that all the ports work. And I'll probably have to salvage some parts off of other consoles, but yay! All this needed was a hard drive. I am fairly pleased, and I may even see if my hardware or recycler has a terabyte drive I can put into it instead of just a 500, and just keep this 500 for a testing. Just a drive I can beat up and re-update several times on different consoles and use and abuse, so to speak. So, sweet. I'm glad this turned out the way it did.